let me make way for Coach Calipari, Kentucky head basketball coach, kind enough to join us. He was at the Knicks game the other night. How does that work when you want to go to the Knicks game? Who places the call and who tells you where you get to sit?
Come on, I'm calling William Wesley. I'm calling Leon Rose.
Okay.
Come on.
You do it.
Who I'm calling.
You do it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
If I want good seats, I have to call.
Do you get to say, hey, I want to sit next to Aaron Rodgers or Jessica Alba?
No, I don't. They get to ask if they can sit next to me.
Maybe years ago that would be the case. I don't know about this year, Coach. They may
right.
say, I'm going to get as far away from him as possible.
That's right. Yeah, you may be right. You may be right.
How close do you think you were to, leaving Kentucky or them wanting you to leave Kentucky? Like, did it ever get to the point where you had to have a meeting to say, where are we going together?
No. Here's my thing again. What we got going, we've been so at a high level. Last year and the year before, we win 47, 48 games in 2 years and 2 NCAA tournaments and all that in a normal place. That's wow, we got this wrong. At Kentucky, there's something different about Kentucky good. And Kentucky good, we've been there. I mean, it was only when the season ended with Maxey, Quickly, Ashton, Nick, the guys we had on that group, where we could have won a national title that year. We won the league by 3. That was only a few years ago.
Yeah.
Then you have the COVID year. Then the last 2 years. But you know what? We got a good group coming in. The landscape has changed. This transfer stuff has changed stuff. The name, image, and likeness has changed stuff. But no, I think we're on a good path. I want to do some special things here. We got 6 years left to do some really good stuff. And I think we're doing some staff things.
Well, what do you mean 6 years?
Well, I've got 6 years on a contract. And I'm like saying, all right, let's make this run and let's do some things. Let's get this back where we were. And again, we haven't been that far. I mean, 2 years ago, we were the 5th overall seed. Like, we and a couple of us lost to St. Pete's. I was just somewhere last night. And, when I was at the Knicks game, somebody came up and said, I'm a St. Peter's graduate. Thank you. You made. I said, yeah, well, you're really happy. I wasn't really happy. And neither were the other schools that lost to them after we lost to them. I mean, how about they could have been in the Final Four?
Yeah.
So, but anyway, that's behind. Look, you know me. I don't have a rear view mirror. My stuff is always looking ahead. What's next? How are we first at it? I mean, you talk about name, image, and likeness. I don't like to get into that with players because you don't come to Kentucky. I call that tripping over nickels to try to get to an NBA max contract. I mean, we've probably got 12 or 13 guys in the league now that have max deals. And you got others, it may be 15, 16 in another year or two. So, but our kids make more than anybody. You saw Jacob Toppin on an AT&T commercial. Lil Wayne's in my office saying, "Where's Jacob Toppin?" I saw him on that AT&T commercial. You've got John Morgan, national stuff, because we're at Kentucky and because our TV even last year rated higher than anybody. What we do and what we're seeing.
Yeah, but these kids want what the other kids are getting at other schools, Coach.
And they will, but I don't want to go in and the first thing I talk about is name, image, and likeness. That's not why you come to Kentucky. That isn't. Yet you are going to do better than anywhere else you go. But why talk about that? I mean, literally, you're coming here. I've had many players say their first year in the NBA was at Kentucky. All that we did, how we practiced, how we competed. And that's what's happened. Kaysen, looking right now like a lottery pick from last year. I mean, that's what this is about. Winning at the highest level, knowing that every game is someone's Super Bowl, knowing you can't hide, you're going to be on national television. And Dan, why do you think people want to watch Kentucky so much? Because they want to see us win?
No.
No. And when we're up 20, they turn the TV off. I understand that our team does, but all that you do by coming here, the competitive practices, you can't hide. And now you're prepared for what's ahead. Watching Julius, watching Bam, watching Emmanuel quickly, seeing what Maxie did. I'm trying to go out west so I can see the lakes and see those guys and Anthony and Jared and Wenyon, and then seeing both Jamal and Devin trying to go out west. I miss Sacramento. I mean, I'm so mad because I thought they could advance and I'd have time. But D Fox and Malik and Trey Lyles, I mean, these kids are all competing. Someone said, how? They're getting older. They're now 24 and 25. That's when they're coming into their prime.
I'm wondering about, transfer portal, name, image, and likeness, and being able to sustain that and want to continue to coach. We've seen some of these coaches, Boeheim said, I've never been happier. Like, it's off my shoulders. Coach K, I know, getting older. Jay Wright saying, man, I've never felt better that I'm out from this. Like, it's changed so much. And I wonder if it's just going to eat up these coaches, that it's not longevity-wise, where you're going to stay 30 years as a head coach in college.
Well, at one school, at this point, that I don't believe that'll ever happen again. But for me, I'm not in it. I'm trying to make sure whatever I'm doing, what makes me happy is seeing kids improve and get better and coming together and winning at the highest level, competing for national titles, winning national titles. But the whole point of it is, am I able to help kids? And if I'm not, because of the transfer portal or NIL, that may change things. But right now, again, we got a great class coming in of young people. We've got some vets coming back. I'm good with this.
But could you see, Coach, could you see getting players who aren't going to be one and done?
Well, every player that comes here thinks he's one and done.
I know.
They're not all one and done.
No.
And I tell them, don't come here thinking you're staying for 1 year. Talk about 2 and 3 years. And after one, if you're able to go, I'll be the first one. Right now, I'm dealing with when the season is in season, it's all about team. I'm not worried about individuals at that point. But when the year ends, it's always about the individual player and what's best. That now, not only NBA, it's thrown in the transfer portal. So like with Oscar, he was in my office yesterday, and I'm talking to NBA teams. I talked to one owner about Oscar because he's going to do some more workouts. And my thing right now is to do everything I can to help Oscar get in that league because I believe he'll stay.
Oscar
Do
Shibwe.
I want to coach him?
I just want to let people know who you're talking about. Oscar Shibwe, who is going to be a lottery pick.
He won't be a lottery pick, but no one knew who he was.
Okay.
No one knew who he was. He comes to Kentucky, all of a sudden, this kid explodes. And I'm telling you, the greatest kid. Do I want to coach Oscar another year? Yes. What am I, stupid? Stupid? Yes. I want to coach him another year. But if I'm doing right by him, I got to give him every opportunity to run this out and see exactly where he is. And so, but I've also had to have kids walk in and say, Coach, I think it's better that I leave. I was with CJ Frederick and walked him through that situation and tried to help him and told him, I'm disappointed you're leaving, but I understand. And let me help you. And you walk through it that way. I'm not mad. I'm mad because you're leaving, or you should never. This thing right now, my opinion, transfer portal. In the past, before they could leave without penalty, I would help a kid try to play right away. I would. I didn't care about a kid sitting out, but you should be able to transfer once without penalty because maybe the coach lied to you. Maybe you picked the wrong place. Maybe you overestimated who you were. So you can leave. If you graduate from the other school, you can leave again. That's 2. If for some reason the coach gets fired or leaves or whatever, you should have that option. Short of that, anything should be added. If you get a waiver for injury, it gives you another year. If you get a waiver for mental health, you need to step back.
Yeah.
You're having to step back, get yourself right, and then we'll add a year at the end. That way, you're having kids transfer 3 and 4 times. It's not sustainable, and it's not good for young people to just say, well, I'm doing this and I'm trying to get this and I'm going to go. I mean, what we've been able to do is work through stuff, and that's kind of being taken away. So when you add that all together, it's a little bit of a cluster right now. We need, and it all falls down. It all falls on coaches. It's not falling on college presidents. It's not falling on ADs. It's falling on coaches. I just talked to a women's coach, and he said one of his girls left and got money to go to the other program. It's happening in women's basketball.
Well, we saw that with Louisville. They just lost their best player, Van Lith.
And then I was talking to Jimbo Fisher. I said, what's happening in football? He says, oh my gosh. So there's got to be some guidance where the guardrails of what we do. But I said this from the beginning. All of this is going to help Kentucky. Kids are going to want to transfer to Kentucky. We're going to be able to put the best stuff together. I'm not sure if it's the best thing for college sports or college basketball and coaches. Many mid-level coaches are going to get fired because their best players are leaving.
Yeah.
And then they have a struggle year and another struggle and they're gone. I mean, it's not great for the profession. I don't think it's great for the kids.
I'll leave you with this. Have you recruited LeBron's son?
Well, he was out west, and I can't mention all that. LeBron's a friend. But his son did get scholarship papers when he was born. So I sent scholarship papers the minute I sent them. So, but
to the hospital.
LeBron's a great friend, and I'm not allowed to talk about it. He's a recruitable athlete.
Oh,
You'll get me in trouble.
I know.
What kind of socks do you? Hold on, socks.
What
kind of socks do you have on today?
Adidas.
Don't tell me you have. Do you have socks on today?
Yeah, Adidas.
Okay. Do you remember the flowery ones you had the last time?
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. What about it?
I knew you.
I'm
when
in
you
your
used to go
head.
into court and shoot. You remember before the game, you'd go into court and shoot.
Yeah, and I put on a damn display when I did.
No, the Dayton stuff didn't come through.
No. See, the fire department came over that day, and they said, "Oh my God, we got to put that guy's arm out. It's on fire."
I called. Okay.
You know it's a true story when you were up at UMass and I was putting on an aerial display and a shooting performance there
with flowered socks on.
Yeah, and that's what the great ones do. Patino offered me NIL, just letting you know. I like it when you have nothing to say. It's great. It's great. It doesn't happen very often, but I do like that.
Not really. Not really.
Hey, good luck next year. And
thanks.
Yeah, I appreciate your time as always. That's Coach John
Dan.
Calipari. He gets tickets to the Knicks games. Got him all fired up there. Not allowed to talk about LeBron's son. Get him in trouble.